Hey guys, it's Trevor, the pastor of the South Oklahoma City location of Life Church. And today we're jumping right back into our 21-day study of the book of John. We are on day 2, chapter 2. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that interacted yesterday on our first day. We had a bunch of people leave comments and thoughts about what God was revealing to them as they read the scripture, as they jumped into chapter 1. And so today I want to encourage everyone to continue to do that. If you held back maybe yesterday, please take a moment and just share your thoughts, share what you're getting as you read the scripture, as you're reading John. It's important that we talk and interact with each other. Please become part of the conversation. All right, so today we're looking at chapter 2, and chapter 2's kind of got two different sections, two different stories. The first is a story of Christ turning water into wine. But today, what I want to land on is the second part of the story where Jesus clears the temple. And the reason that I want to land there is because our study is supposed to pass through the lens of actually looking for the word believe and underlining that word, highlighting that word, and looking for it as you read John, and then asking yourself, what am I believing about Jesus as I read these things, as I look at this scripture. So let's stick to that theme and let's look at that word and how it's used in the scripture. I've got something that and really struck me as I read this. So as we're looking at this part of the story, what happens is Jesus has come to Jerusalem. He's come to the Jewish temple there in Jerusalem, which is really the center of Jewish faith. He calls it his Father's house. And as he gets there, they're selling things. They're selling animals for sacrifice. And there's also some guys there that are called the money changers or the money lenders. They're essentially like loan sharks. And so Jesus comes in. He's not happy about what he sees, and he makes a whip and he begins to tear things up a bit. He's flipping tables over. He's whipping things, animals, and people with this whip, I guess, and he's driving them out of there. And man, they're like, "What in the world? Why are you doing this? By what authority do you do this? And if your authority comes from God, then show us a miraculous sign." And so Jesus says, "All right, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." "What?" they exclaimed. "It took 46 years to build this temple, and you can do it in 3 days?" But by this temple, Jesus meant his body. After he was raised from the dead, the disciples remembered that he had said this, and they believed both Jesus and the scripture. So let's look at that again, because this is what struck me. It says, after he was raised from the dead, the disciples remembered that he had said this, and they believed both Jesus and the scriptures. The disciples, the apostles, they had spent time with Jesus, about 3 years or a little more, and they got to see him do miracle after miracle after miracle, from feeding thousands of people, turning water into wine, finding people that were ridden with disease and broken bodies and healing them, and even raising people from the dead. It says here that after he was raised from the dead, the disciples remembered that he had said this, and they believed both Jesus and the scriptures. So it took, this unbelievable, miraculous thing to happen. And it says after that they believed. And so I think about my own life and how many miraculous things I've actually experienced. And what I mean by that is miraculous. My whole heart being changed, my life being changed, the focus of my life being changed, my family and the miracle I've seen go to work in my own family as God has set free my wife from addiction, as he's changed so many things about who we are. I've seen miracle after miracle, and not only that, I've actually seen miraculous things where people have been healed. I see miracles all the time. We all do. We see sunsets. We see mountains. We see the birth of a child. We see all these miracles all around us all the time. And yet there are times when we face trouble where we struggle with belief. And so today, what I'm reminded of is to think about the goodness of God, to think about the power of Christ in my own life. And when I face those troubles, man, to remember him and to believe. And so that's my thought for you today. I want to encourage all of you, man, share your thoughts. What did you get as you read the scripture? And please be interacting with someone, talking to someone, sharing with someone as you go through this study. It's so important. And in the days ahead, I want to let you know we've got a lot of some other people coming. They're going to share their thoughts. Some of our staff at the South Campus of Life Church, some other pastors within Life Church, and even some people outside of our church. So keep studying, keep reading, and keep going. Don't forget you got this thing on your wrist, and man, let's do this study together. Remember, whoever finds God finds life.